Jack's heart nearly exploded in his chest as his dog Cooper let out another desperate whimper and threw himself against the wall. Again. The sound of claws scratching against drywall had become a constant over the past 2 days. But this time it was different. Urgent. Frantic. Jack shot up from the couch, his half-drunk cup of coffee sloshing onto the worn wooden floor. "Cooper, what is wrong with you?" His voice wavered as he stepped closer. The golden retriever whined, his body trembling as he pawed at the same spot he'd been fixated on for nearly 48 hours. At first, Jack had assumed it was just another one of Cooper's weird dog obsessions. He'd checked for mice, for water damage, for anything that might be causing this behavior. Nothing. But the way Cooper was acting now, eyes wide, muscles taut, tail stiff as a board, there was something more. Something real. Jack swallowed the lump in his throat, took a slow breath, and reached out to gently pull Cooper away. The dog resisted, his whole body rigid, every fiber of his being screaming at Jack to do something. That thought sent a shiver down Jack's spine. He hadn't believed in ghosts since he was a kid, but right now he wasn't ruling anything out. All right, buddy," Jack muttered, rubbing his temples. "I'll check again." He'd already pressed his ear to the wall before, but this time he gave it another try. He closed his eyes and listened. Silence at first. Then, a sound. Faint, muffled, but unmistakable. A noise so quiet he almost convinced himself it was his imagination. Almost. Someone was crying. Jack stumbled back, his breath catching in his throat. No, that was impossible. His heart pounded against his ribs, his ears straining for another clue. Some proof that he hadn't just lost his mind. Cooper barked, sharp, anxious, his tail wagging with desperate urgency. His eyes locked onto Jack, as if urging him to act. And that was all it took. His hands trembled as he grabbed his toolbox from the shelf in the corner of the room. The crowbar felt heavy, solid, real in his grip. One last deep breath, and he plunged the metal into the drywall, forcing it open with a sickening crack. Dust filled the air. Cooper barked louder, jumping beside him, his nose darting forward. Jack coughed, waving the dust away, and then he froze. There, huddled in the tiny space between the walls, was a little girl. Jack's entire body locked up. His mind raced, trying to make sense of what he was seeing. She couldn't have been more than 7. Her tangled blonde hair fell over her thin face. Her cheeks were streaked with dirt. She clutched her knees to her chest, her eyes squeezed shut. For a moment, she didn't move, as if she thought she was still hidden. And then she opened her eyes. Jack fell back onto his heels. The girl blinked at him, her lips trembling. She was real. She was actually real. "Hey," he croaked, his voice barely a whisper. "It's okay. You're safe." The girl didn't respond right away. Her small hands trembled. Her fingers gripped the hem of her oversized dress. Jack glanced at Cooper, who was sitting quietly now, ears perked, tail wagging softly. There was no hesitation in the dog's gaze, only gentle reassurance. Cooper had known. He'd been trying to help her all along. Jack turned back to the girl. "Can you tell me your name?" he asked, keeping his voice calm, soft. He didn't want to scare her any more than she already was. She hesitated. Then, in a whisper so faint he barely heard it, she spoke. "Lily." Jack felt his throat tighten. "Lily. Okay. That's a beautiful name." He paused, choosing his words carefully. How did you get here?" Lily glanced around nervously, her small chest rising and falling in uneven breaths. She opened her mouth, then shut it again. Jack's stomach twisted. Whoever had put her there, whoever had done this, he had a terrible feeling she wasn't ready to say it out loud yet. "It's okay," he said quickly, raising his hands in reassurance. "You don't have to talk about it right now. You're safe. You're not alone." Lily's eyes flickered to Cooper, who let out a soft whine and crawled closer, resting his head on her knee. She blinked, and then, slowly, she reached out. Her fingers brushed against his fur, and for the first time since Jack had found her, her lips twitched. Just the smallest hint of a smile. Jack exhaled. A weight lifted off his chest. They weren't out of the woods yet, not by a long shot. But one thing was certain. Cooper had saved her, and Jack was going to make sure that no matter what happened next, she stayed safe.